interesting thing about the data science space is that anybody can do it, right? It doesn't matter what background you have.
So would you say that the man, because yourself, you have actually been through many companies, like you have said. Are you saying now when you got into the data space, the money was just like shocking for you? It's like, yo, yeah,
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 no, no,
understand.
definitely. I'd say definitely. Yeah, it was shocking. Even when I got my package, I was like, okay, so this is it. This is the real money that I'm actually going to get. But yeah,
Okay, back with another one. Back with this man here. Hey, man, you've been difficult to find, eh? Like
yeah,
we've been.
yeah. No, I'm really, really sorry. Yeah, this week has been. I think the first 3 days of the week were okay, but yeah, the last two, yeah, man, the pace picked. Like it was something different, eh? Because we actually had. Wait, are you
Mhm.
still there? Or you broke a little bit?
Yes,
Oh yes, I was
yes.
actually saying the first 3 days were literally hectic. It was rough. So I actually had a couple of deadlines, but I'm here
Were you
now.
moving jobs?
Hmm?
Were you moving jobs?
Yeah, yeah. I actually moved jobs this year. I was at NetBank initially. Then yeah, I joined. Yeah, the guy. Yeah, those guys. Yeah, those
So,
guys.
so you at NetBank, right?
Yes.
What was your role at NetBank?
Oh, so I was a data scientist, even that side. But there I alternated between three business units. So I was at CX delivery, then I moved into HR, then I also joined the marketing department. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So now so yeah, we have a couple of brands, your Black Label, Castle Lager, Castle Mixed
mm,
Out, what's the other one? Brutal Fruit, Flying
mm.
Fish. Then there's what's the other one? Your Lefe. Then there's Budweiser. Yeah, so those are the brands there.
So do you guys get to drink mahala there
Yeah, no,
as employees?
definitely. Yeah, no, people drink mahala there. Like they drink mahala, mahala, mahala. It's an everyday thing.
Yeah, it must be nice, man. It means every day is a Friday. I
Yes.
want us to start it from where it started in varsity.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
today I'm joined by Tshepo Hobyane. Tshepo Hobyane is a your profile says you're an economist, and in class, one thing about doing maths, what I love
Mm.
about it is that I'm exposed to students who actually do different courses and stuff like that. So I had some students who were doing economic science in my class, and I was telling them about my YouTube channel, and they were like, Chief, but you never bring economists. What about us? You always bring this data science guys and stuff like that. What does an economist do and everything? And I was like, actually thinking about it, I was like, actually, I don't, I hardly meet a lot of economists or people
Mm.
who do the economic sciences and stuff like that. So let us start it there. What did you study at VETS and why?
Oh, okay. Oh, why? Hey, the why part. So, I did a triple major. So I had corporate finance and investments. Then I had insurance and risk management. Then I had economics. So those were the majors that I had from third year. Yeah. So the reason why I studied that, I think it's actually started doing accounting, right? Your CA stream. Then after first year, I was like, nah, no, 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 no. This is not what I actually want to do. And also, when you see a career that's actually going to be flooded. So I was actually thinking that it's actually going to be flooded at that time. But also I wanted something that I'm good at, something that interests me, something that will also make me wake up in the morning, and something that I can do for the rest of my life, you know. So that's why I decided to go for corporate finance, investment, insurance and risk, and also economics. So that's, yeah, where it also started. Yeah, we can continue, right? So yes, then from yeah, after getting my degree, I actually started my career in underwriting. So I was at the global underwriting. So I was actually working for a firm called Allianz. So usually they sponsor your big football teams like your Bayern Munich and Juventus. Then from there, yeah, it was amazing. It was interesting. The career also was very interesting because that's where it all started, and that's where I also learned a lot about the corporate environment as well. So yeah, from there, I got poached by Standard Bank. Then I moved to Standard Bank to do universal banking. So with universal banking, it was everything banking, like including your general banking, home services, VEF, investments, everything was there, even Sharia banking. Then, yeah, when I was at Standard Bank, that's where now I also decided that, I actually need to change my career because I couldn't see myself doing that for the rest of my life. And also, I feel like what I also studied, I felt like I wasn't getting much exposure, to do what I actually studied, to do something that I actually love. Then that's where now I had a chat. I think you also had Mahlatsi here. I had a chat with Mahlatsi, and he was like, no, you know what? Try the data science space because there you can move from any background to there as long as you understand your mathematics and statistics. Then I started doing my research. Then when I was doing my research, and I was like, yeah, nah, this is where I need to find myself. Then from there, started, with your YouTube, how to, code, and also like understanding that space. And then from there, also Mahlatsi referred Explore AI Academy. Then with Explore AI Academy, that's where now I moved. Yeah, actually applied, did the assessments. Then from the assessments, yeah, I got in. I also got a scholarship from NetBank. That's how I ended up with NetBank. So yeah, after after doing the certificate, then I moved into NetBank. So NetBank I joined as an intern, and with that one, it was a lot more difficult because I moved from having like your salary and your permanent job into having to start over. Yeah, then I started over, but I was like, as long as at the end of the day I can, get something permanent and also find myself in that space. And I didn't even care if what it was NetBank, but I just wanted to find myself in the space. So when I got into NetBank, I leveraged, like I actually used all the skills that I actually acquired from my graduate program from Allianz until yeah until that certificate. Then that's when I actually started finding myself like having to be exchanged from one business unit into another. Yep.
Oh, what a journey, man.
Long one, eh?
Everyone, so
Uh,
everyone is moving to data science now.
yes.
What is it about it?
It's actually interesting because with the data science space, it's not just coding and having to deal with models. It's a lot. It's a lot, and it's actually broad it's actually broad in a way, so actually I feel like with my journey, I got into the analytics space first before I got into the real data science where you actually had to play around with models and also drawing insights from your large data. So yeah, I think for me it was how can I actually put this. I think a lot of people are also going there mainly because of the career opportunities that are there. Because it's like I think it's probably 12 years ago, your actuarial science was, one of those careers where there was a lot of funding and also they actually need a lot of people in that space. And also with data science, I feel like it's the same way as well.
Hey,
Mm.
maybe let I have to move, but I'm coming.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
no, no, definitely you have to move because I mean you're a mathematician and you're a doctor now, so come to that space.
Mashas was telling me this. He always tells me this. It's like, Chief, aye, man. Yeah, I know you love academia, but just come and check what we're doing this side, man. Maybe you can find some gem there.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, yeah, your skills will definitely go a long way in that space. Eh? They will definitely go a long way because it's basically mathematics and statistics there. It's a lot of it. If, like you in that space, you'll definitely go, yeah, yeah, your skills will go a long way. And also, with especially with what you have, yeah, your quant space and your data science space, yeah, you'll definitely, yeah, you'll do magic there.
Hey, man. A lot of people are saying that they're like, Chief, when you don't want money, when are you? Hey, what are you doing? You know.
Yeah, no, and there's also money there. There's also money, and career growth as well is yeah, it's on another level there. So you can't do the very same thing over and over again.
So would you say that the man, because you, yourself, you have actually been through many companies, like you have
Mm.
said. Are you saying now when you got into the data space, the money was just like shocking for you? It's like, yo, yeah,
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 no, no,
understand.
I'd say definitely. Yeah, it was shocking. Even when I got my package, I was like, okay, so this is it. This is the real money that I'm usually going to get. But yeah, definitely the money is the money is good. You definitely live with that.
Let's talk range, if you don't mind.
So I'd say usually with okay, let me start under your from your graduate program, right? So I know some graduate programs that offer you, especially in banking, you'd get around 400, right? But the minute you also, yeah, 400,000 per annum. So 1 year or 2 years in the industry, it can also range around 680 to 720. Then from there, it goes, yeah, to some other amounts there, especially with your, the more you also, I think also like it goes with where you find yourself in. Because I know banking and the other big firms, yeah, they are paying, yeah, the amounts are just, when somebody tells you about their package, you'll be like, yo, okay. But yeah, the money like another, thing that actually motivates a lot of people because there's money in the space. There's money in that space. And also growth. And I think, of course, money is one element that actually motivates us, but also the growth in that space is yeah, you won't do one thing over and over again. It always changes, and also, with responsibilities as well.
Sure, sure, sure. Amazing. So now uh, you did economic science, right?
Yeah, it
Um,
was actually economics theory, but it was one of the economic science majors. Yeah.
oh, and you also did. You mentioned them corporate.
Yeah,
Those majors.
corporate finance and investments. Yes.
How have those helped you in your career journey, especially where you are now? Because someone will be watching this and maybe they're doing economics and they just like, will I fit in? How will this degree help me to get in there and stuff?
To be honest, I the only okay, yeah. To be honest, I haven't used corporate finance and investments. Yeah, no, no, at all. That has never worked in my career. But for your economics, it was only your stats and also like a little bit of mathematics. That's what we are actually like using now, especially coming from your algebra, your Gauss elimination. That's where now you also see it. And but there's a lot of statistics. So most of the things that I'm actually using now, it's part of like those compulsory courses that we actually had to do from first year until second year. Yeah, most of them are coming from that. But with yeah, corporate finance and investments, none. I haven't used that at all in my career. Only insurance and risk, because that also worked during my graduate program when I started in my career journey. That's what I was using a lot. But from there, even yeah, from since I left Allianz, I haven't seen anything insurance. Even the time I was in banking, I haven't used that at all. Even the time I was at Standard Bank, yeah, I wasn't using any.
So where do the economic students then go?
Yeah, no, most of them are coming to tech. Most of them are coming to tech, unless if ever they are taking, your like that journey of being an economist. So some do, and but most of them, yeah, most of my peers are in the quant space and the data science space. Majority are coming this side because that's where you use your mathematics and stats. And with that, also it goes with the type of industry that you find yourself in, because some are in market risk. Yeah, some are in market risk. Some actually come back and go for academia. A lot of them even. But in that
Okay.
space, yeah, no, no, I haven't came across people who've done anything economist. But the most interesting thing about the data science space is that anybody can do it, right? It doesn't matter what background you have. You can definitely do it, especially if ever you get your skills from, yeah, as long as you actually get your certificates. Let me just put it that way. Get your certificates, have your own portfolio. then you build towards that, because here they care more about what you can do, you know, not what you really, really studied. Because yeah, I mean, like, besides, because I have a colleague. Yeah, the time I was actually at NetBank, there was a colleague who did something in biological sciences, but they ended up in the data science space.
Hmm. So I was still saying that you spoke right now about some biological science students who actually find themselves in data science.
Mm.
Um, but now I'm actually very much interested in the economic science degree. Where can it get you besides the data science space? Or is it also fewer opportunities in the economic
Yeah,
sciences?
yes, I actually wanted to say that. I think, yeah, with the economic science, I think also the career opportunities in South Africa are not that broad. But I think, yeah, with that, because if ever you actually want to be an economist, you actually have to go beyond your honors degree, probably get a master's and a PhD. So I think, and also the competition is very narrow in that space. So I think that's why a lot of people also decide to change around that, because majority of economists that I know, they have like a master's degree, and some decide to go further. But your honors degree, majority of them are either in cybersecurity and also in the data science space, majority. And also in underwriting as well, because I had a colleague when I started, he also had honors, an honors in economist, yeah, economic science. So yeah, he also studied advanced as well. So yeah, a lot of people in that space, I think they are just limited career opportunities. So that's why most of them are coming into this space, because here they need your mathematics and statistics mostly.
I see, I see, I see. And how did you fit in, man? How did you fit in into the data science space? You know, because some people can be like, no, coding or like, oh, too much math, too much stats and stuff like that.
Yeah,
How was it for you?
Uh, it was at first, to be honest, it was very difficult, especially having to start over. It was a lot more difficult because I never actually had any like mentality. Let me just put it that way, because everything had to make sense in my head before I actually start with it. So it was very, very difficult. But the program, the Explore AI Academy program, yeah, that's where now it got a lot more better, because the structure of their courses, like, it's definitely on another level. Some other people even compared it to some honors degrees, like from other institutions, and their teaching method also made a lot of things a lot more easier. And also some of the assessments were working in teams, which also made it a lot more better. But at first it was very, 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 very difficult. I don't want to lie, actually having to move, because I started with Power BI, which is also like a platform for analytics. Then having to move there into your SQL, yeah, it was okay. SQL wasn't that difficult, because I actually used to think of it as having to work with Excel. But moving to your Python and machine learning, that's where things took a different turn, because there it was a lot more difficult. But yeah, the program actually helped skill wise, but having to get into the working space, it was a lot more difficult as well, especially in the beginning. Are you still there? I think you froze a little bit. Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, having to getting to cooperate with that, it was a lot more difficult. But as they always say, anything is possible. You can definitely learn anything in this world. So I actually started, yeah, having to learn, speaking to people in the space, and also asking, whenever I actually came across like challenges, I would ask for help, so that people can actually, assist. And from there, then I got a lot more comfortable. Then yeah, I think from there. But also another difficult thing, especially in that space, it wasn't uh coding. Let me just put it that way. It was just the business acumen. There, yeah, that's where they catch a lot of people, because it's especially having to get into a business unit. Especially, let me just say, from HR, it was a lot more simple, because I actually took it as statistics, but we didn't have to apply, your averages, or any statistical methods. But moving into other business units, because that's how they do their things. Now I actually had to bring, that theory that I learned from university, theory from the program, and also applying it and drawing insights from whatever problem that I actually had. So yeah, there it was different. But as I'm actually saying, you can definitely learn anything. And to adapt, yeah, was actually like my top priority. Like, yeah, it was actually like my top priority, my list. Then after adapting, then I took it like further. Then it was a lot more easier.
And you didn't do any coding in university, right?
Oh, no, definitely not. Definitely not. So it was just, your statistics, theory one way. But I didn't do any coding in varsity.
I mean, this is encouraging because a lot of students that I meet and when we have
Mm.
discussions about these things, they always cite the coding part to be like, no, but
Mm.
I'm doing maths, we don't do any coding and stuff like that, and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, if you're saying that, then it means that people can still be able to learn the coding at work.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And I think I also remember some other time, I think it was last year or that other year, when you reached out. And at that time, I didn't even know anything about coding, but I was actually starting to change, my career. And yeah, how can I actually put this? I think your coding is, even though I actually understand that is actually the main, like skill, but anything is actually possible. Especially, like you can, if ever somebody managed to learn, mathematics or anything, they can still be able to learn, coding. Even though like it's actually like a lot more different because what we do, it's unlike what the software developers are actually doing, for example, So it's totally different. But anything is actually learnable. They can still learn and be able to excel in it.
I see. I see. So there is someone who's going to watch this who actually is not coming from the mathematical sciences. I think for students who come from the mathematical sciences, math, stats, and stuff, I think maybe they can be set. But let's say someone who has done biology, or maybe someone who has done like yourself, economic sciences and stuff like that, and they want to actually get into the space, the data science space. What can you say to them?
Uh, yeah, I can say, the beginning of a lot of things are a lot more difficult, right? But as long as you keep on learning, anything is actually possible. They can still, move from one industry into another. But in this space, I think even the people who are in this space, they are still also learning, especially anything in data science because it's I wouldn't say it's a new thing, but it's those careers that are actually picking up, and also Gen AI is also coming in heavily, So I think yeah, in the space, anything is possible, man. They can still learn it, but what I would also like encourage is that if ever they actually put their mind into it, they'll be able to also like do it. It's actually not difficult, but in the beginning, I'd say it's difficult, but working towards the main goal, it's always a lot more better. So they actually had to see the bigger picture before they actually even start because it is difficult. I won't lie, it's actually difficult, but it's possible.
Let's break it down. Let's break it down for someone who actually wants to get into the data science space and maybe they don't come from a mathematical, quantitative, or scientific background, right? Just like you did. So you cited earlier on that you did some certificates. You also spoke about explore data science,
Yeah.
and Mahats also spoke about it as well. He was coming from the engineering space, and he started there at explore data science. And I also had Freddy here as well. He also did the whole thing. So take us through those. What can I say? Those steps to say, okay, maybe start with explore and then maybe do the certificate. Some people talk about Udemy. What can your advice be?
Oh yes, I'd say they should get into any program. Either it's Udemy, Explore, Data Camp, or any other boot camp out there because it's mainly the very same skill. But if ever I'd actually like advise a person who didn't make it to one of the programs that we were in, I'd say they should start with probably any analytics platform. Your Power BI, they can learn Tableau as well. Then from there, they should learn SQL because it's one of the main skills in that space. They learn SQL, but with SQL, they can still learn through Udemy, also DataCamp or Explore AI. Then Python as well. Python is actually also the main one, especially if ever you move towards the data science space, not data analytics. If ever you go for that, they should learn Python because Python it's the core skill for your machine learning. So yeah, I'd say that. Then yeah, from there, I think they should also build a portfolio, right? There are platforms like your GitHub. That's actually where now you build your portfolio. You get all, any yeah, because there. But how can I put this one? So yeah, but problems that whenever you build your GitHub, you also need data to actually work with, right? But they can still get data anywhere. Also, like on LinkedIn, they can still find the data. And your Google, sometimes there are those pages or platforms where they can also give you data that you can also learn with. But yeah, they should start with Power BI, SQL, Python, then machine learning. So those are the main ones. So if ever they didn't make it to explore because they have, your selection processes, they can still do it on Udemy. And Udemy also always has, your specials. They can still get your 250 courses, which are, yeah, usually like in a month they drop them from your 2000, your 1000 to 250. But the main important thing is that when they go towards the space, they actually have to know what they should start with. Then yeah, from then also like YouTube, especially having to help with skill, YouTube is also a platform. And I'd also like suggest a page that also helped me a lot. There's a guy called Sandeep.
I think you were
Okay.
still talking about Sunny, the Indian guy who was helping you on YouTube.
Oh yes, Sandeep. Yes, yes. So yeah, that's he's. I'd say he's a god of this thing. Eh? So he's pretty much good. He explains things very clearly. Because I know in the beginning, especially with Python, because most of us had a lot of challenges there. So whenever you actually go to his page, he has everything. Yeah, literally everything. He's actually starts from where Python actually started and how to also like maximize the skill. And some of them, like some of the challenges that we're actually having here, somebody from India, probably solved that problem 7 years ago. So even with him, yeah, he's been in the space for quite some time. But I'd say a lot of people are also like taking this journey and also like wanting to learn what actually happens in the coding space. I'd suggest that they should go for Sandeep. He's actually good. He actually starts with your theory and also, like your application.
How do you spell his name?
It's SUND, then EEP. So even the, yeah.
I don't know, man. There is something about the Indian because believe you me, on this channel, I
Uh,
get a lot of like I'll post a video and I'll get someone saying watching from India, and I'm like,
yep.
like this guy is like they are. I think they are so much into tech and they are actually very good in tech. And
Yeah, no, no, they pretty much good. They pretty much good. I also like did a couple of challenges with that were actually coming from that side, and how I would also solve it here. It was a lot more different to how they also solve it on that side. Even the time I was at NetBank, you'd see most of businesses they actually have somebody from India, like a lot of them. Because even where I am now, there are also like some guys from India. Even before, there are some other guys from India. Even though like our time zones are actually not the same, but they're always there.
I mean, it explains it. I think even Google, most of the guys, especially from MIT,
Yes.
is it MIT? I think India has this famous university. Is it MIT?
Yeah, I think it's MIT. Uh-huh.
Yeah, most of these guys, man, they go to be CEOs at Google, to be like Microsoft and stuff like that, and they do it big, man.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
they're doing it big. And I'd also like say people are also starting here. I think on LinkedIn there are also like a lot of pages from India, and also follow a couple of them, and they always posting their findings, how to get insights. So they also help me a lot in this change, because sometimes I wouldn't even think that something is actually important or even relevant towards the problem that I'm trying to solve. But when
yeah.
you look at how they solve their problems and you compare even with what would do this side, you'd be like, oh, okay, but I mean, this is a better approach because there's this and that. But with us it's usually like short, but those guys are actually like a lot more skilled, very, very, very good. And I'd actually suggest that if ever somebody starts in this journey, they need to familiarize themselves with some of those pages, especially on LinkedIn, because that's where they send like most of their like findings. Yeah, I'm usually in the data science space.
Oh, okay. I thought you said marketing.
Yeah, so it's actually, yeah, marketing, but in the data. So it's data scientist in the marketing space. Let me put it that way. Yes,
I
so
see.
that's what I actually do. And yeah, with this one, it's actually like a lot more different compared to what I also like used to do in the marketing department as a data scientist from in NetBank. Even this one, completely different. But there are those two or three things that will look a lot more similar. And yeah, similar, but it's completely different. But I'm actually like in the marketing space, but as a data scientist.
Give us the contrast. What was it that you're doing at NetBank in marketing as a data scientist versus what you're doing in marketing as a data scientist for a company like AB InBev?
Oh, okay. So the time I was actually at NetBank, it was a combination of analytics and data science. Like let me give an example. Um, Let me see. It's actually like a lot. Hey, so let's say okay. Let me use what I'm actually doing now. Let's say they actually want to launch a new product, right? I'm actually going to use data science to try and predict how their product is actually going to do in the market, right? So at NetBank, it wasn't uh thingy, but okay, yes, at NetBank it was merely like insights, right? If ever like people actually go into their website, probably like complain about things or maybe suggest that they do stuff like differently. So I actually use data science skills to actually get that those insights, right? And probably create okay, let me not say create models out of that because it actually differs, but also try and actually like predict or see how they can actually uh do better, right? But at NetBank it was actually mainly like analytics. So now it's actually like a lot more different because now we actually had to also like build models to try and actually like predict or try and find like findings from that. So
I
yeah,
see.
it's two different like industries, even though it's actually like marketing for both, but completely different.
That's interesting, It's interesting because I think the way I look at data science, you're
Mm,
talking about marketing now. There are guys who are probably in tech, in banking, insurance,
mm.
and I've also heard about health that
Yeah, health,
is
yes.
also data science is also coming into that space, and so it seems like the different spaces that data science is penetrating into that we never thought, or that maybe as a data scientist you can work there.
Yeah, it's actually like completely different. Hey, it's actually completely different because coming to think about um, the projects that I've been part of, and yeah, before and now, it's completely different because also it starts with the platforms that they're actually using. Even though I was thinking before that, oh, no, I'll probably be doing the very same thing. But when I actually got into this space, I'm not actually doing the very same, like anything similar to what I used to do at NetBank. So it's actually completely like different. But what I can say, and also to actually like answer the question that you asked before. So we actually use your data science for okay, something in common between the two. It's like your consumer like segmentation, consumer clustering, to having to train your models as well to how can I put this one? Yeah, to actually like draw insights from what you actually want from the data. Because if ever, let's say you have let me find it simple like I think it's actually like a lot more difficult difficult because you can actually speak clearly about what
Yeah,
you're actually like working with. So let me say you have your beer data, right? And when you go for your net bank, you have data that has to do with let me just say from customer experience, right? People are actually having problems with having to use maybe like the app, for example, right?
yeah.
Then you're actually going to use a data science to actually see what kind of people are actually having challenges with that app, right? And also you can still use that data to also like predict what type of challenges they're actually going to have, or probably in let's say they are launching a new product also like from netbank no from banking, sorry, and they want to see which people are more likely to use that banking app or maybe that banking service, right? So you're actually going to use the data skills to try and see who's more likely to use that type of platform. So even with your my environment now, it's similar to that. You can still use a data science skill to try and see who's more likely to buy that product compared to the other one. And your affordability, that's where they come into the picture. But with that, it's a lot more easy, especially when you have that data, because you can still pull it and see if whether the person is actually going to, be able to buy that product. That's where now your consumer segmentation and your clustering come into play. Yep.
Hey man, you said something that just caught my eye here. I mean my ear. You
Okay.
spoke about beer data. And how does beer
Yes.
data look?
All I can say is that people drink a lot of beer. People drink beer. That's what I'll tell you. People drink beer. And it's not even it doesn't even go much with ages. But I'd say, between your 18 and 44, yeah, that space, no, no, no. People drink a lot of beer. People don't care if whether it's expensive or not. People spend a lot of money on that.
And demographically, how does it look? Is it maybe black people drink a lot, or maybe white people drink a lot, or maybe Indians drink a lot? How does it look demographically?
I don't know. With that, it goes with products, right? There are certain
Oh,
products where I'd say a lot of black people drink these ones. Then there are those other ones where it's say white people drink this type of beer. And when you go into, the Indian community as well, you'd see, okay, so this is their most favorite beer. So it goes with that.
oh,
But yeah, the beer data is something else.
shucks, man. I never thought about saying this, the beer data. Like, it just
Yeah.
sounds, it just sounds taboo, you know?
Yeah, no, it is. It is. Especially, growing up, I wasn't even thinking that people drink that much beer until now that I'm actually seeing the numbers and I'm like, Hybo, 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 guys, what's going on? What's going on? But if ever also you compare, like between male and female, I'd say, yeah, our gender is drinking a lot of beer.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness. Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the questions.
Mm.
There are a lot of questions that came through, man.